We have internet? While we have internet?
We're gonna hop on early while we have Denise and her internet. We have, a tropical depression, I guess.
Number 2, I looked it up because I was like, second
Um,
day of June, second tropical depression.
I missed the first one.
I did
When wa
too.
when
I
was the
did
first
too.
one?
It might not have been on our coast. We might not have paid any
Yeah,
attention.
I think you're right on that, and, also, this one's doing something kind of weird because I the neighbor was out when I after I dropped Misty off, and he said, and he's different, let's just say that. So he wanders around in the parking lot, and so I pulled in, and he made his way over to where I was gonna park, and he, like, stood, like, right outside my door of my car. So I get out, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "Good. I'm waiting for the rain." I said, "Yeah, every day I go every afternoon." I said, "We're, in a rain pattern." I go in, and all of a sudden the sky is getting darker. Like, well, this is a little bit more than just an afternoon rain coming through. And so I did some quick check, and I'm like, oh, well, he could have mentioned it was a tropical depression. But what's weird about this one is it's going south. It's like usually they swoop up. This one's swooping down. It's supposed to hit Cuba later.
I Okay, because that's funny because I looked at the map and I must have misread it because of course it's on my phone and it's this big and I'm like, okay, tropical depression. But I thought it was coming past Cuba and coming up because my friend, I was just on the phone with a friend of mine who has got a new puppy. They've been
Oh,
looking
puppies.
and this one got rescued by a friend, was chasing people who were in bicycle like
Oh,
through the down in Homestead area in Miami, and a friend stopped and picked it up, and it fell asleep in her lap. And she's like, "I know a home for you." And after she did all her due diligence, they adopted it, and
aw.
just so cute. But she is also the director of National Water Dance, and they're having a performance tomorrow outside. So I said to her, we will send some good juju that even if it rains, it is light with no thunder or lightning.
Yeah, right,
So,
right.
so
Yeah, I am pretty darn sure this thing is traveling south, which is really weird. I'll double check, because like I said, it's weird.
let's
So
Google
maybe
that.
I'm just I
What direction is the tropical depression traveling in on the west coast of Florida? Is it going to take the whole question? Is Florida at risk? Sustained winds of 38 miles an hour, but it is not considered a storm yet.
right?
Let's see. 5,000 checks later, there is no threat to Florida. That's all I need to know. I can't figure the rest out.
Hey, Google, what direction is the tropical depression traveling?
Inquiring minds want to know. I hope it doesn't pick up on that too.
No. She said she didn't know. She doesn't
You know,
know.
we take for granted that we will always get our answers on Google now, and that just necessarily isn't
Right?
isn't so, or necessarily even true when we get them. So,
Let's see. I'm typing in tropical depression, tropical smoothie. No.
oh yes, let's go. Oh, that could be our next adventure. Tropical smoothies. I actually like them.
um,
I
well,
always fight with myself over, do I get the one that has chocolate and coffee or do I get the absolute green drink?
you and the coffee. You and the coffee.
The coffee. Say it correctly. Coffee.
No, it's coffee. Coffee, man.
How can you say
Um,
coffee? Coffee.
A tropical depression 2 moving slowly south in the Gulf of
Okay.
Mexico.
From where?
It's
Because is it passing us, or this is something else?
it's passing us.
So
It's on its way to
where did it form?
Cuba. Huh?
Where did it form? Because we're not south of Cuba. I did pass geography.
No, it's traveling south, and it's passing
where did it
us
start
on its
then?
way to Cuba.
I'm not used to tropical depressions starting north of us.
I know. And traveling south. I mean, what storm travels south? I'm not familiar with that.
Inquiring minds want to know. Any aspiring meteorologists out there that care to enlighten us on this topic, please put your 2 cents in now.
Yeah, maybe their water's warmer down there and it's just sucking it in there. I guess I heard there was a lot of wind shear or something, the winds and the depressions and all that kind of stuff isn't favorable for it. So maybe it's enough to push it down. But yeah, I've never heard of a storm traveling south.
No, I have not either. Stranger Things. Oh, wait, that's the show, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's kind of ominous that you mentioned Homestead, because Andrew hit first named storm, first named hurricane, and it hit in June, right?
No. I'm trying to think of when it hit, but I lost my home in Andrew. Now, I think it was August.
Was it that late? Was it that late? I thought it was.
And I had lived here for I don't know how many years, and every hurricane season it was just a reason for a party. So the night before Andrew, I had actually been driving from Pennsylvania to bring furniture from my mom was getting remarried, and she sold our house that I grew up in, and I was bringing furniture back to my house and was brand new, had owned my house 6 months, and I lost the roof.
You're right, August.
Yeah.
That was a really late storm. I thought it was an early storm. I thought that's why it caught everybody off guard.
No, it caught everybody off guard because we hadn't had a hurricane in like 50 years. And we went jet skiing the day before. We were like, woohoo! And you couldn't find anything.
You follow the storms now, right?
Oh my word. Now it's like, okay, it's
since then, that's why, and yeah, my daughters, you're kind of crazy. I'm like, no, it's just good to know what's going on.
I had never given what's what about it before that.
That's why I was kind of taken back when I was like, this is our second tropical depression. When was the first one? What's going on? Why did this happen? This seems kind of quick, and it started in the Gulf. It's kind of early for it to start in the Gulf, right?
That's very bizarre. Yes.
Everything about this storm is weird.
Maybe the Bermuda Triangle has switched to the Gulf. That whole landmass shift. We don't know.
I don't know. There's some planetary chakras and ley lines that maybe are activated.
Wait, let's do that major hookup, not just the minor hookup.
I don't even know if I could do that anymore.
Come on, we need you, Gwen. We need you. Come on. And then your pointer finger. Come on.
Twist out. Oh
no.
I got a cramp.
You heard it first here. Gwen injured during planetary chakra alignment exercise.
I gave myself
but she's cramp. Done it. She shifted for us.
I'm taking it for the planet.
Thank you. Thank you. Tarzan's
I'm
even
taking
looking
one
here
for the
all
team.
approvingly. He's approving. He woke up for that. Good
Oh
boy.
my goodness gracious.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. So anyway, well, stay dry during the storm.
I think it's past me already. It was thundering and lightning.
It's not past us.
Let me look.
It's not past us. It's still going past us.
Well, I'm just saying the rain stopped here. I just looked because
Yeah. The sun's breaking out a little bit, but yeah, I can see off the coast. It's still really dark.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe that did it. Move to the left.
I notice your signal is getting weaker. Your
Oh.
little energy lines are yellow. So
Oh, wow. Hold on. I'll work on that.
right. Well, we have somebody that's watching us, I think, out in social media land. So say hello, because you know what? If it's somebody we know, I learned something new last time.
Oh,
After everybody was gone, I noticed we can put the not necessarily like you can put display the social comments, but I can instead of putting them all up, I can just put one up.
huh.
But I need one in order to do it. So
Okay.
anyway, because I was like, we got lots of love from that last one. We had lots of love going around, and I was like, oh, those would have been great to pop up there. And yeah, okay, for what it's worth.
Oh, you know what? I'm always learning something new, like what you told me about YouTube or last week with the chat, uh, which I shared with someone else. I was like, and felt all, oh, it's
Here we go.
Leanne.
Leanne from
Hi.
Colorado.
Yes.
Okie, friend of Denise. You're an Okie
Yes.
of the Skokie.
So good
Hello,
to see
hello.
you.
Well, let me see if I can do this.
Okay, we're
There it is.
experimenting on you, Leanne.
There it is.
Oh, look at that.
Can you see it?
Yes, I've actually just been getting a lot of pop-up pictures because Leanne is part of my oils world, and we have gone to convention together before, and that's coming up. So all how they come up, and you're like, oh my God, I remember that or this or
Those
that.
the conferences. Yeah,
Yes,
those conferences are always fun.
yes, very fun.
So, Leanne, you want me to take that down or you want me to leave it up?
I like it.
I do too.
Oh, see, she learned something too. Yay. All right, so this is 2 for 2.
That's Look at that. We are rocking it. We are rocking the technology. We've got our QR code where it needs to be instead of in front of our faces. We've got our Facebook stuff showing up, our chats. And she says we can leave it up.
Yay.
So I guess I'll leave this one. I wonder if there's a way to reposition it because it's like right in front of my mouth. It's like I'm being, if I position myself just right, it's almost like I'm bleeping the words, right?
That is correct. I do not know any of those. I'm always learning from you. You are my techie mentor.
There we go. We'll tip the computer.
Your chair raises, doesn't it?
It does, but so does my cameras. Camera up, camera down. How's that?
There, you're looking good now.
Let me tip my computer back there. Okay. All right. There we go.
Okay.
Ready to learn something else that's new?
I do, and I am.
Are you familiar with Reddit?
I am only grazingly familiar.
Okay. I don't go on it very much myself. My daughter does. She's been a Redditor for eons, just for the longest time. And so for those who don't know Reddit's just a really interesting platform of subreddits where you can go and learn all kinds of things or participate in all kinds of things. It's almost like if you're familiar with Meetup, where Meetup's groups that meet, Reddit's for people who don't meet but want to share what's on their mind. Or share whatever the group is, the subreddit is. So like Misty participates in like there's an awe subreddit where they
what?
awe, AWW, where they post about their kitties and their puppies and cute little animal things,
Okay, I get
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Aw.
See, you got it. Pictures that make you go, ah, or videos. And so she'll be like, Mom, do you need your daily ah? So she'll send me something cute. Like the other day, somebody posted, they had a baby skunk in their garden. And the little baby skunk was trying to act all tough and was like running at the camera with its little tail up. It was so cute. So and you can vote things up and down, and there's a whole thing that goes on Reddit. It's quite the community, if you will. So one of her she's in a number of subreddits, and this other one she's on is called Ask an American. And what's really interesting about the Ask an American is, as Americans, me personally, maybe, other people are different. I really don't think too much about being an American and the idiosyncrasies of being an American. And I think that would probably be for most countries. Most people in their country don't stop and go, I'm Puerto Rican. And what does that mean? So you really, how do you feel? Do you stop and contemplate your Americanism, your being American?
Maybe only on 4th of July.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
I just assume because I was born here, and I mean, I did think about it when Michael got his citizenship, because we studied with him.
Okay.
And it was very interesting how many Americans actually didn't know the answers to the questions that they ask to become a citizen. And so oftentimes the people who immigrate here have a better knowledge of our own history.
Right. Well, on this subreddit, when the people ask questions, it makes you stop and go, oh, I guess I never thought about that, that might be something that's specific to being an American, or that other people in the world think about what Americans do.
Well, Thanksgiving, I think, is a unique holiday to America. Is that right?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. So here's what came up yesterday on Ask an American. Okay. Because Tina Turner died, right?
Yes.
It inspired someone from Australia to ask, is it true that Americans do a dance called the Nutbush, which is danced to the Tina Turner cover of Bob Seger's Nutbush City Limits?
I've never, I do not know. And I don't believe I participated in that dance, but
it was a resounding no. The Americans are like, we have no idea what you're talking about. It seems, and it's a true thing, people fact checked it. In Australia, they don't even know the history where this came from, okay? But in the schools, they teach the kids the American line dance called the Nutbush.
Nutbush?
Yes, Nutbush City Limits.
Okay, no, thank you.
Nancy Land saying she's never heard of it either. It's an Australian thing.
About America that America doesn't know about.
I'm like, and Misty, she's like, I said, okay, chicken dance, hokey pokey, You know, I think we've all been taught those in school or done them a time or two at a wedding or something. But yeah, in Australia, the kids are taught the American line dance, Nutbush, to Tina Turner's cover of Nutbush City Limits. And they do it at weddings,
I'm going
different
to have to look that
gatherings,
up.
and occasionally at a bar. Misty pulled it up. She did a search and she pulled up the line dance, and there was an instructional video on YouTube on how to do it.
I'm going to ask friends of mine that I know go to line dancing, and see if they know.
It's not a thing in the US.
Anywhere.
I
Okay.
think somebody in Australia said, let's take this popular song and make it a thing so that kids exercise. Because if you watch the line dance, it's more of an exercise. So you can see why they taught it at school, because you're doing the knee to elbow thing. You're doing kind of jumping jack kind of stuff. So it's not your traditional.
That doesn't even sound like a line dance.
They do a few side steps and but it looks more like an exercise thing. And I think it's just somebody in Australia said, we can sell exercise to the kids if we Americanize it.
That's hilarious. I'm going to have to go watch it and maybe even learn it. Perhaps, sounds like Zumba.
Sounds like Zumba. Yeah, exactly. And not from the land of Zumba. Right?
Oh, well, I think we should learn it and then we can present it on a funny Friday.
No.
No? Okay. That's just about as good as this one.
Yeah, you're right. You don't want me to really hurt myself.
No, there's also chair exercises. We could do it in the chair.
I'm still going to be a hard no on that one. You know what we could do? You could recruit Leanne and have her join next week, and the two of you can do it. And I'll sit in the background and laugh.
You know what? I can count on you for that. And thank you.
So that I thought that was pretty funny.
That is very funny.
I was stunned by it. They ask really interesting questions. It's really funny, the questions that pop up on Ask an American, like, and then after they ask the question, they get into really interesting conversations on the topic too. So like on one, they were talking about foods what foreign foods do you think should be American, or you would think would be American? And Pockies were one. Are you familiar with Pockies? It's like a wafer cookie dipped in like chocolate or strawberry. It's got like frosting on it. They're like sticks, little teeny little bread sticks, little wafer type sticks. Yeah, they're great. Yeah,
I know those waffle. They look like little sandwiches, and they're waffly, and they have.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's not that. These are like little sticks. They're like little bread sticks, but they're more of a, I don't want to say it's not a bread texture, but if you imagine a little skinny breadstick, that's more of a cookie, and then it's dipped into chocolate, so it has like a chocolate.
Oh, do they come in like a canister?
I've only seen them in little packages. Like tear off the top, and there's a bunch of sticks in it.
Okay.
And Pocky comes up a lot. I want to say it's Japanese. It's Asian, obviously. Don't test me on where they're from. But like Misty's had Pockies before. She's gotten them as gifts from different people and stuff. And what's funny is like somebody on Reddit one time posted American, if you go to like, the question was about food. If you go in the grocery store and you have we have an international section, right?
Right.
a lot of the stores will have an international section, and sometimes our international section gets kind of poked at on Reddit as not really being too international. but, but what's funny is they'll show American food sections in foreign countries. Okay, so you'll go there and it'll have like breakfast cereal, like Fruit Loops and stuff. And Pockies will be in there. And I remember me and Missy laughing about that. We're like, why is a Pocky? What are their Pockies in with the American section? And then it came up again just recently about it being a food that you would think is an American food, but it's not.
I guess, yeah. What is traditionally American? Turkey? French fries, burgers? No, they're not really, right? Well, do French fries actually come from France?
No, I don't think they did.
I don't know.
I think they, not the kind that, I don't think our kind of French fries, what we call French fries, I don't believe.
I think,
but yeah, it's really interesting, the different things that'll pop up.
Sloppy Joes. I think they're American.
I think so too.
My mother would make that would be like a weekday meal that you could just throw in one pot and put it on a hamburger bun, and there you go.
Yeah. Well, remember I told you one time about Ask an American question that was somebody asked us about, if we don't have bars on our windows, how do we stay safe? And it's questions like that. Like, you get people in another country who want to know more about Americans, and so they'll ask questions, and it makes you stop and go, because in order to ask that question, you'd have to be coming from a very somewhat dangerous place, right? If you had to rely on
and I think
bars
a lot
on your
of
windows.
people get their ideas from television. And so what are the shows that are popular? Probably Law and Order and those kind of shows.
But that wasn't the question. The question was,
no, I know
about us
why, right? I'm just saying their idea of why we're not safe probably comes, well, from our news, and then from the shows you watch.
No, yeah, I can see where you're going with that. And that might be something that probably came up somewhere in the thread on that Reddit. But this one was more geared, in the thread ran more along the lines of that person's country. They have bars on their windows, and they
do
were
have
really
bars on their windows.
And they were really kind of taken back that we feel confident enough to live in homes that do not have anything blocking the windows.
That could, yes. I've been to different places around the world, and I can see that as well. But the thing that is also true is that our entire country probably fits 50 countries in it, because some states are bigger than some of the countries around the world. And so, yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yes, that is interesting. I'm going to have to look at Reddit.
I had just a font of knowledge today because of this past week's just been very interesting. Want to learn something else new? Hi, Anya. How are you? Happy Friday.
Hi, Anya. Happy Friday. Thanks for popping on.
Yeah. Can we put 2 up? No. There we go.
There we go. Yes, you are getting good at this, popping the comments in and out.
Who knew? Who knew? So let's see.
So you said this week has been a font of learning. Is that what it is?
It has been. I learned something else new.
Okay.
Crazy new. I did not know this. 2019, they did core samples on the pyramids, the blocks of the pyramids. They've not been able to do that before. They were finally able to do some core samples, and they found that the core samples contained a multitude of things, including human hair, which led them to understand that these blocks that are, because the main conundrum with that is it's like a 16th of an inch. They didn't use mortar because everything fit together so snugly, right?
Right.
And that's been the mind boggler. Turns out the reason everything fit together so well is they are now entertaining the fact that what they did is they pulverized the stone, hauled the pulverized stone, and then reformed stone. You know, they like mixed it with something to like, not epoxy, obviously, but something to the equivalent of epoxy to form these perfect stones. And that's what the pyramids are built.
That'd be so incredible. And the thing, Michael and I actually were having a conversation about this because my in-laws are in Spain right now, and you look at these buildings that they're taking pictures of, and they're 1,000 years old or more. And then look at the pyramids, how many thousands of years old. And then we go down the street and we look at something they built like 5 years ago, and it's already a piece of, like falling down. Oh, crap, I'll just say, and it's like how brilliant these minds were and the science that they had. And here we think we think we have all the right machinery and all of this and that.
Yeah.
And
I know.
we're
We've got
nowhere
big
near
egos.
that.
This time period, our scientists and such have such big egos that they feel that they're so far advanced compared to that group. But they're unfortunately, as they're digging in, finding out that these people were far ahead of us.
Right. And even as they're rebuilding, I know we were having a discussion because they're rebuilding the what is it in Paris? The cathedral.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And the architecture that they're trying to keep it structurally the same, and the difficulties they're having in replicating, even with all our modern technology, what they accomplished is, right. I just think that's just so very interesting. Yeah.
Which only begs to point out that it was like, what, 40 years that it took for them to build it?
Oh, probably even more, I'm thinking. And just like the things in Egypt,
it took a long time.
Yeah.
Some
of those took more than one. Some of those churches in Europe took more than one span of a lifetime.
Well, that's what I was going to say is 40 doesn't quite sound right either, because I was going to say 400, but I was like, wow, that's too much. So I dialed it back to 40, but I'm like, no, because I remember when I was standing in there reading their stuff that they had out on the construction, it was like 3 generations. They could go through 3 generations of families in the building of that thing.
Right. And that's why those guilds were so important. And so, because that was, yes, generational, and you grew up in that, yeah, it's so interesting. It does boggle the mind. And I'm going to have to look more into that Egyptian pyramid stuff. That's fascinating.
Leanne's echoing back to us on the egos, that egos do play into it. Yeah. And that's why they're so hard to change their stuff, because they're finding all these, now that, the ice age is coming to an end, and they're finding, frozen bodies that date way past what they originally thought humans were around in. And they're really, really slow to change that, because they're just like, oh, something must be wrong with the machine. They're like, something's wrong with the machine. It's saying these people were alive 2,000 years before we said they could be.
and the things that they have with them as well, like that they were more advanced than we would give them credit for.
Yeah, they find things like they were doing brain surgery. And it wasn't that they just did it and the person died. They know that the person had brain surgery and survived, because it's like they could see where the surgical thing took place on the brain or on the skull, and the skull healed.
Right. Yeah, that's whew.
So yeah. Stuff, huh? So yeah, like I said, I just kind of fell into a few things that I was like, wow. I'm
Things that make you go,
hmm.
and things that make you go, ah. Oh,
Aw. Aw.
aw.
You post a lot of ahs on your Instagrams, those reels that you do.
Thank you. I do because I want to look at the world like that. Oh.
Yeah,
And
your
I did
flowers.
yesterday. I don't know if you saw, but we have a tree in the back. It's a jasmine tree, and I never know when it's blooming because it's so tall. And those little flowers, the tree is different than the bush. They're so tiny
What
that you can't, the jasmine tree,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yep.
can't see them. At least I'm like, you know, below the height of like being able to look up there, strain my neck. And so I'm like, I smelled them and I'm like, oh my God, they're in bloom. So I took my phone and I'm making it bigger until I can see them. It wasn't until I got in the house and I'm showing Michael that I see all the bees. Like, so I tagged my neighbor because she's got hives and I'm like, I think your bees are going to be getting home late tonight.
Right, right,
But
and
but
all
it's
that honey is gonna
fascinating.
does she cultivate the honey?
She
'Cause
does,
oh,
she
'cause
does,
it's
and
gonna
we've
have that
we've
jasmine.
yes. Oh, it's she's really a nice neighbor. They have chickens and veggies and
Nice.
she's a good person, Kara.
Very
But she's got
cool.
nice hives. We've gotten honey from her a few times, and she does the markets sometimes when right now
Nice.
it's not quite she always lets us know when it's ready.
Yeah, I just got an email from a guy who's local who's been doing honey in the area for a while, and he just sent a thing out saying that he has done whatever beekeepers do to get their honey. He's done it. The honey is ready.
Mm.
So,
Well,
yeah,
and they say it's best to use local honey, that it helps us assimilate whatever's blooming, whatever's, you know, all that good
right.
stuff. And
But those guys
it's
don't
yummy.
the natural beekeeper people, they don't normally pasteurize their stuff. So the honey
Right.
is even better because
Right.
it's still got all its antioxidants because I learned back some time ago that honey used to be used as a salve because of its antibacterial, properties, so you would just rub it on one injury and it would help you to heal stuff.
My friend's son's dog had some kind of weird thing happen where it was losing its skin.
Oh,
And they tried everything. And then the vet said, go get raw honey from a local person and spread it on there. That's the last resort I can even think of. That worked.
yeah.
That healed the dog's skin. It
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
that's yeah. And just the amazing things. Like I always say, I'm a huge proponent of all of that, finding the balance between them. But these things were created here on earth for a reason. And
Right.
if we can get to the purest source of it, then that's the good thing.
Yeah, and I love the picture you put up of the lilacs. Oh my gosh, that thing is huge. I don't think I've ever seen so many lilacs on a is that one plant that had all those stalks?
Yes. Yes. And the thing about back here is they grow so tall because they're competing with the pine trees. So they're always looking to find the light. And that's why I say most of the time I know things are blooming by looking at the ground to see what blossoms have fallen.
Right?
Thank God for Zoom on the phone, like, look how
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yep, yep. So hey, I have a question 'cause, you talked on this before. You were looking for hay bales to make your
We have
raised did
we
you do
haven't
it?
done it yet. I'm waiting for Mikey's good timing. Uh, he he's he and I think he's just got to get his once he gets set on it, it'll happen. But in the meantime, he's been planting a lot of like we need more plants, but along the edges of the property because we have neighbors now that we can see their house and I'm like I like you, but I don't want to be walking out in my PJs. I've lived here for 10 years and I could take the dog out in the morning and just be like,
Right.
ha ha. Now I'm like, oh my gosh. Do I have my robe on properly? Let me put
Yeah,
some
right.
lipstick on. Good morning.
I hear you. I hear you
I'm
on that.
spoiled. I'm spoiled.
Did you get him to check out the lily I was telling you guys about? Did he find that yet?
He did not find it yet. He did not, but he's always on the lookout. He loves, I mean, he really does have a love of the land, of planting. And
That's
it's
cool.
so funny because I'll go out the back door, like if I've made lunch or something, I'll be like, Mikey, Mikey, and I don't hear anything. And then I'm like, okay, I shut the door and I walk out the front and I'm like, Mikey. Meanwhile, he heard me and then then he hears me. So we're like doing this.
Oh no. That's too funny.
Yeah,
That's too
yeah.
funny. I've just been having this circulation. I think I told you about the bunnies. I had one that was laying out there that looked like roadkill.
You sent me the picture, so cute. I was like, do they have a rabbit centerfold? Like,
Yeah, right, right. I mean, have you ever seen a rabbit lay like that outside somebody's door that wasn't dead? It was-
I mean, definitely looked like it was posing, you know?
yeah. So after that, he was gone for a few days, and I went out, you know, within a couple days, and I walk out, or I don't have to walk far. What I'm doing is I'm walking out of my bedroom in the morning and looking out the sliding door. And I look out, and this time there's two big the Muscovia ducks, those big ones.
Uh-huh.
There's two of them laying where the bunny was. And I was like right outside the door. I'm like, okay, that's an odd place for you two to be hanging out. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here.
They probably heard that it was a photographic moment. You know, that's your spot.
I don't know.
They're
I
like,
don't
hey, you
know.
want to be featured in the next month Gwen's nature photography?
And they're interesting too because they're mostly solid black, because usually they're like a brand, they're mottled. So like they've got like a bunch of different colors all kind of blended together, and then they got that funky red head thing going.
Right. Yeah,
They
yeah.
look like a turkey that's been stuck onto a duck's body.
Yes.
And yeah, these guys are more solid black with that head. And so that's kind of interesting. And then also these will fly. Most of them don't fly because they're like what, 30, 40 pounds and they can't get off the ground. But these guys, they're slow, they're low flying.
Right.
When they get off the ground, they're about 3 feet off the ground, just skimming the water. And then they get to the other shore and they like crash into it because their little feet can't hold up all the weight. But I have to say that's like the first time I've seen the Muscovias fly. Because usually they're just huge and they just waddle around and just can barely move.
So how is your sandbox doing now that they've like redone the sprinklers?
The weeds have taken over. So I think that's what's brought the bunnies and the ducks hanging out, because I think they're eating because it's
Right.
kind of a viney weed. I'm not quite, they're the viney weeds. There's a couple of different ones out there that I've got. One has little purple flowers. Another
Oh, I
one
love
has
that one.
more of a lily kind of looking flower. And then there's these yellow ones. So they seem to be eating the one that has like little white flowers on it.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I think they're digging around in, because they're all digging around in there. And the only thing I can think of is that has to be the flowers.
So funny because we were talking about that. When you take your dog for a walk and you watch other people's yards, you see other people's yards, and our yard, we're like we encourage what people call weeds, because to me they're bee food. and animal food. And who told us it was a weed anyway, but somebody who really wanted a particular type of grass or garden, and they
Right.
decided that other stuff was weeds. But
Right.
we get those ones, and I always call it Florida snow, because it usually comes out like in the winter, and then it just
That's the
covers
one I think they're
everything.
eating, is the one
Yeah.
that looks like that. Yeah.
But we have a little bit of every, and some are little blue ones. They again look like they're on a little vine. But I like to my friend showed me this thing, like if you hold your phone upside down, like how you would take a picture, but instead of hold it upside down and take the picture or the video, it it gives it a different look, and it looks like I like to go through, and it looks like you're like um in a jungle, and these things are huge. Oh, Leanne, thank you so much. I
I'll
appreciate
have
you
to
being
try
on.
that out.
God bless.
Oh,
Happy
thank you for
Friday.
being here. God bless you too. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend.
Yay.
Aw, that was sweet that your friend came to visit you.
I know. I love it. My friend and my niece is here. I just love the support. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun that your daughter did. I don't know if I mentioned your daughter being in the class the last time. That was a lot of fun. I wish she would have turned on her camera though, so I could see her, but it was fun knowing she was there.
Yeah, she just didn't want, because she's got the kitty, and she didn't want everybody getting distracted because the kitty's like is a kitty.
Yeah. The
And
cat.
but
Cats are cats.
yes, it made my heart feel so good, because she was really the inspiration for that class. And see, you can see I just feel that way. You had a post up about I think I saw it on Instagram about self-confidence, and something about what you do to get inspired. And it just reminded me of that exercise where you get up and you smile in the mirror. And then the other one is to bring back a really great memory. And that is the one that always, look at that, I'm just like over the moon
I
all
know.
over again, you know?
Yeah, yeah, if you can keep in the front of your brain, at the ready when you need it,
Yep.
something that just makes you smile, like,
And
that's
then
why when
tap
Misty
that
sends
in.
I know, and Misty sends me those ahs or, yeah, thinking, "Oh, this, ah."
I'm gonna have to look, because I love Oz. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, they put
Like,
some
I need
pretty
one more social media thing, but
right? Yeah, yeah, Misty does the screening for me, so that works out really nice.
oh, well, you could forward.
I
I'm
could
open to
forward
that.
it.
Yes.
There you go. Well, if you're open to that, I will forward it to you. I'm not usually forward like that.
Well, now it's an invitational forward, right?
Yeah, if you're open and agreeable, I will. I will send
Okay,
that to you.
because that's like my friend that um her dog Bree had passed, the one I was telling you, Dale, that just adopted this puppy. And so when I found out she did, I found out through the grapevine, because her daughter and my daughter are like best friends. And she said, do you know they got a puppy? And I'm like, what? Because they all grew up together, and so they grew up with Bree. Bree passed, and they did not want another dog. And then eventually they're like, oh,
You know what?
and so she sent
It
me a
doesn't it takes a
picture.
little bit of healing, but after that
Yeah,
healing,
yeah,
if you're a dog person,
yeah.
you
And
know
so it's funny, because I said to her, I love the picture. And she goes, oh, well, I have a video. I go, send it. I said, I was at somebody's house, and I was telling them something. I go, let me see. Krista texted me about that. And I pull up my phone, and there's back and forth pictures of Tarzan and the kitty. Tarzan doing something
Ah,
funny, and they're like, what is that? Is that what you guys do? Oh, yes. So I said to Dale, we do it all the time. Feel free, keep them coming.
ah.
They're just,
Yeah.
it does. It makes you go, what? Oh,
I know. It
yay.
does. It does. And and those are, who needs fancy words when you can have an animal making you go, "Oh, look at
Right.
you."
They're like instant heart hugs. Ah,
It's always, and there's always the infamous, batch of puppies all running around like little crazy things, or the baby, one of my favorites is the baby goats, because they bounce, how they bounce everywhere. It's like, I love when they turn loose a bunch of those little baby goats and they're just like, boop, 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 boop.
I have
I
another
want one of those.
I have another friend in. I'll have to ask her to send me some videos, and then I'll forward them to you. She has a goat farm up in New York, and so the birthing season has just passed. But oh my God, they're so adorable.
They are so cute.
Yeah,
they are so cute. Animals are just adorable.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
Even snakes, baby snakes, grown-up snakes, not so much. Yeah, but
They have a purpose.
Baby snakes, they even make you go, oh, look at that little thing.
I do have I didn't put it up, but I have a little video. We have the koi pond in the back. We had to net it because of the heron. And so the other day Tarzan's walking past, I'm walking past, and then I'm like, oh, in the net, like, kind of sags a little bit because of all the bougainvillea blossoms that have fallen in it. There was a snake just laying, like, sunning itself and on the bougainvillea, just all stretched out, like, what are you doing here? But I was like, oh my word, he's using it like a hammock.
Crazy. I know animals. You know what? It's just like the rabbit. They obviously feel comfortable and safe where they're at because, usually snakes are a little more. They protect themselves a little bit more because they know the birds will get them.
Right. Yeah.
I'll just lay here on this koi pond.
They make me jump, but I'm really happy they're here because they have a job to do.
They do. They do. Maybe rattlesnakes not so much, but the
okay, where I haven't seen one yet here, and I am knocking on the hardest thing I know.
Oh my gosh. I haven't run across the large ones, although Shelby's buddy, remember I told you his buddy kind of settled this area with his dad. They used to get them all the time because they were always, doing moving earth and stuff. So he had the skin of one that he had to shoot that was up on his wall. And the thing had to be almost 8 feet.
Ooh.
It was insane how big this rattlesnake was. So anyway,
I
have not seen those type of rattlesnakes, but pygmy rattlesnakes. I see those I don't want to say frequently, but I have seen them sporadically through my years here in Naples. And they're really, it's funny because you see this little snake and you go, because they're only like about 4 or 5 inches long, and you go, oh, look at that little snake. Isn't he cute? And you walk up to it and it coils up and it doesn't have a rattle yet, but it's got its little tail going and it's all coiled up and trying to do the, I'm going to get you. And you're like, oh, aren't you cute? And then you go, still a rattlesnake. And then I found out that they weren't baby rattlesnakes. Those are pygmy rattlesnakes, and they do bite and they do have venom.
I don't need to encounter one. I'm more than happy for them to disperse themselves elsewhere.
Yeah. So, yeah. But the rat snakes are fun to have around. They always kind of
pop
out of nowhere and scare you.
And we have a lot of the black racers.
Yeah, the black racers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I call them rat snakes too, just because that's what
they get rats.
Eat. Pretty much what they eat. But yeah, the black racers predominantly, that's the ones I see around. In fact, that one that I always see out the back door is a black racer.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who live in an area where you have snakes, The difference between a black racer and a water moccasin is the shape of the head.
Right.
Because the black racer does have a little bit of a white on him, but his head's real narrow.
Right. I grew up when we grew up in Pennsylvania, we had water moccasins, and I look back and think, wow, what were we thinking? Because they would hang out in the trees and we would still take our inner tubes and be like, okay, we're going under the tree, and you'd see them and they're kind of aggressive, and
they are aggressive. They are an aggressive snake. They're more aggressive than the rattlesnake.
I'm like, we were crazy.
That is crazy because, and we have those down here too. So
yes, I saw one when we were at the first one I saw down here. We were at the Mississippi Indian, the festival they have during the Christmas holidays.
Right.
And they walk in the boardwalk, and it was it was huge, and it was down there, and it didn't like people. Like people were stopping, and it was like, I'm like, oh, we'll just walk back. We don't need to walk the rest of the boardwalk. I'm good.
Yeah. What is it? Shark Island, which has no sharks and is not an island. Have you ever been there? It's on your way out to the Mississippi.
Shark Valley,
is it Shark Valley? Okay, Shark Valley, Shark Island. It's not a valley. It has no sharks. It's not an island. Not an island. Not sure why it has that name.
But do you know how many people ride their bicycles there? I think they're crazy. I had friends who've invited me for years
to take
the moonlit ride through Shark Valley.
Oh, through it. I was thinking to it. I'm like, shoo.
No.
It's a long
no, thank you. No.
But yeah, no, I couldn't see doing a bike ride through there either. We did the first time we went, we did a tram.
Right.
That tram that they have, and it was really hot. We obviously weren't thinking about it being the middle of summer. So it was really, really hot.
Yeah, best time to visit the Everglades.
Right. Yeah. And and that is true, because that's when, everything's alive and wet. So, but what was crazy is, so that path, I guess, where your friends would have rode their bikes. Gosh, I can't. I'm having a problem with my tenses. Where they would have ridden their bikes.
Yes, I do believe that's correct.
Yes. We went past that trail, and as we were passing it, and it was like the last tram of the day, so you had to like get on the tram and go. We're walking past it, and there is an 8-foot alligator stretched out across that path, and there are people on the other side of him wanting to get on this tram because that's their ride home, right? And they can't get across the tram. So we see some park ranger, and we're like, there's a problem over there. There's an alligator blocking the trail. Nobody can get off the trail. And he's like, well, they're just going to have to wait.
Meanwhile, the sun is setting.
You're not going to shush him or anything? And he looks at me like I'm nuts. It's like, lady, I'm not getting anywhere near that alligator.
They know better. They know better. Have I ever told you that story of we were at the Flamingo, the very end of the Everglades. They used to have a hotel. I don't know that it's still there, but we had friends that rented a houseboat that you could rent, and we go to visit them, and there is a man there with his daughter, who had to be maybe 4, and their little dog, like a Toto. And there's an alligator asleep on the boat ramp, and he says to the little girl, "Oh, go over and stand next to the alligator so I can get a picture."
Oh.
People were like the silent scream, and had to go and tell them this is a real alligator. It's not a Disney moment. I think they must have come.
And Disney has real alligators too.
Even safe for that either.
Disney moment there either.
Right.
Oh, I know. I know. People don't think I remember I was like 9 months pregnant, and Shelby had some friends down that, and the guys were going golfing. And so they convinced me to just come along and ride on the cart and get me out and about. And, it'd be easy for me just to sit in the cart, and I'm like, okay, okay. I'll, and so we're out on this golf course and we're going, and then there's this they come across this big old alligator that's out on the green. And the guys are like, and his buddies who are not from around here are like, "Oh, we gotta get a picture with the alligator. Got it." And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Come on, Gwen, come over by the alligator so I can get a picture." I'm like, "I'm 9 months pregnant. It I'm the bait." I'd never be able to outrun that thing. I couldn't outrun the thing anyway. They're like, I think their top speed is like 45 miles an hour.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
like, I couldn't outrun one of those. Like, I'll just stay here in the cart away from all the crazy people.
With my foot on the gas pedal. That'd be me. I'm like, hey. Oh, you know what I'm looking at, and I'm laughing.
Did they convince that guy to get away from the alligator?
Oh yes, absolutely. But because it was like you could see, and then as he's leaving, you watch the alligator just be like, one eye opens, and it's like, oh my God. That was something I don't need to see, don't want to see,
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy stuff, man. Well, lady, if you're got your 2:00, you're late for it.
I know. And you know what? I was laughing because I'm thinking to myself, every time we get on, we're like, okay, this week it'll be 30 minutes tops.
30 minutes. Let's see if we can keep it under an hour.
Hey. I love you. Thanks. Thanks for getting on you. And I will see you next Friday, if not sooner.
Yeah, and let's do a quick. I'm Gwen Peterson, founder of Spiritual Communities Network, creator of Insights and Illuminations. And this is my sidekick, Denise Flood of
DeniseFlood.com. Change your frequency, change your life.
Wonderful. And tonight I do have a free class on manifesting, the Be, Do, and Have workshop, if you will. So if you want to kind of juice up your second half of the year, join me. Visit insightsilluminations.com to register, and I hope to see you. And Denise, any public announcements?
I am doing a essential oils and cooking food frequency class on June 17th here at my home. So go check it out on Denise Flood. Change your frequency, change your life. And we're going to have all kinds of delicious food that has frequency, and add those oils in so that you just have a beautiful, bountiful life.
Nice. Very nice. Well, we'll see you next week. Right? You'll be around next week?
I will be around. Right. Boom.
Ooh, okay. Next week. It's a date. See you then.
Okay. Hop it off. Love you.